What's up guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Kristen and in today's video we are building a starter tattoo studio / apartment in the new town of Nordhaven, and I am so excited to go through this with you guys. But before we get too deep into today's build, I would like to take a second to invite you guys to leave a like on this video if you find it entertaining in any way, or maybe, if you learned something. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Also, subscribe if you have not already. That definitely is the thing to do. And comment down below what your favorite part of today's build is, or what's even better than that? Comment down below what your favorite part of the new pack is. I really would love to hear from you guys. There's so many cool aspects of this new pack, so definitely looking forward to hearing y'all's opinion on it. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into today's build. So, like I said, this is a tattoo studio with an upstairs apartment, and it is in fact using only 20k simoleons, or just under 20k simoleons. If you want to move just one sim into this starter tattoo studio, you will have to go in and just delete a few things out of there. That totals up to maybe 500 simoleons. I think I went a little overboard on the decorations, but you guys will see it is definitely worth it. Now, if you have 2 sims, then you could move into this tattoo studio, no problem. But I do know a lot of people like starting out with 1 sim, so totally up to you. But I just could not help myself with the decorations. I just had to go overboard as much as possible since this is a new pack. I do love creating a starter home or business using the new packs, but it's kind of, hard at the same time because you have all of these new items that you just want to go crazy with. But, with starter homes, you can only do so much. So it was a little bit of a challenge not going too overboard. Like, I could not use the new bed, which is unfortunate because honestly, I love the new bed. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it is super cozy looking. Oh, and this new fence with the fairy lights on it. Oh my gosh, I love that new fence. I was not able to use it on this build, at least not on the outside, just because, it's a starter business, and so we only had so much simoleons to start out with, so I could not do a fence in the back. I started off wanting to make a backyard for this business, but I don't know, I couldn't get it to look very good because I'm having to use terrain paint to make concrete all around the business. So it just looked off, so I ended up doing away with the backyard idea a little bit later in the build, and I end up just putting like a back porch area with some tables and chairs, which, the tables and chairs are not usable, okay? I'll tell on myself there, they are just debug, but I needed something, I needed something to fill up the backyard other than just blankness, and so I ended up using those debug tables and chairs. I'll talk about that more once we get there, but you probably seen me add a couple of transitions, and that is because, this is a new pack, new debug stuff. I was going through the debug stuff, pulling out some debug stuff, a lot of which I did not end up using, and so I just wanted to cut that part out. You guys really didn't miss anything, and so totally worth cutting that part out. And also, something to note on this build is that I added a little parking area on the side of that, and that is actually the first time I've done that, like, ever. I've always wanted to build a business with that little parking area, but I never could get the parking area to look that good. But I ended up using the little fence trim in the fencing section, and I used that to create the parking lines, which is not ideal because obviously they're not painted on the concrete, they're fence, and so they're kind of, popping up off the ground, but we can use our imagination. That's totally fine. It still looks good. And then I placed a curb right there in front of it. Like, I really wanted to make this business look as realistic as possible. And to be honest, I think I did a really good job making it look pretty realistic. And not only does it look realistic, but it looks really good at the same time. And let me tell you, it really wasn't the easiest thing I've ever done, because I did the outside and I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I have like 8, 9, maybe 10,000 simoleons left. So let's go ahead and start furnishing the inside. And then I get to the inside, I do the floor plan, I'm placing the paint everywhere like I'm doing now. And about now is when I'm realizing, oh, I'm running out of simoleons pretty fast, and we have a whole apartment to furnish, and we have a whole business to furnish. And so I really, really hope the new items in this new pack are not super expensive. And to be honest, some of them are kind of expensive, like the tattoo bed was like 800 or 900 simoleons, and I was like, oh no. And the new bed, yes, unfortunately I could not use it. But at the end of the day, I was actually able to furnish this pretty good on the inside, not only downstairs in the tattoo studio, but up here in the apartment as well. Like, you guys will see there's kind of a lot of items everywhere. I was able to fit 3 bathrooms, which one's here upstairs. And as you can see, there's no sink. It is what it is. There's a sink in the kitchen to make up for it. But downstairs, there's 2 bathrooms I was figuring could be for like the customers. And there is in fact a sink and a toilet in both of those bathrooms. And so at least the guests, they can wash their hands. But the owners, they don't have to wash their hands. They're fine. No, I'm just joking. I just kind of figured, that was a small bathroom running low on simoleons. There's going to be a sink in the kitchen, so it's really not the end of the world. If you guys download this and you have some extra simoleons and it's killing you the fact that there's no sink in the bathroom, totally you could add it, no problem. No hard feelings at all. I totally understand. It was kind of hard for me to leave it with no sink, to be totally honest, but it was totally worth it in the end so that I could add a few more decorations. Which, talking about decorations, I was surprised to see that some of the pieces were 0 simoleons, so I had to go crazy on those. Like, I added them as many places as I could without it being totally overboard. And one of those new items was like a new incense burner, which I don't love the look of. It almost looks like a traffic cone to me. I'll point it out to you guys once I pull it out of the catalog, because I do use it in this build. It might look like a traffic cone, but it's free and it's a decoration, and so I had to use it. And so I'll point it out to you guys once we get to that part. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just pulling out different items that I know I'm gonna want to use, like this new plant. Oh my gosh, totally my favorite new plant in the game, or not even of the new plants, like my new favorite plant in the game, period. Like, that's it. Like, that is such a good plant. I absolutely love it. I came across this new mailbox, and one of the swatches was like black with like stickers put on there. Thought that was so perfect for a tattoo studio. And then above like that mailbox on the door, well, the mailbox is next to the door, and above the mailbox I put like the open/close business sign, and you use that to be able to open and close your business. I came across this iPad thing, have no idea what it was for when I was building this, have not played the game yet as I'm building this, and so I'm like, okay, I was reading it, kind of sounds important, kind of sounds like you run your business from this iPad, so maybe I could use it. And so I plopped it down there, just, figuring hopefully it's necessary. And when I went to playtest this build, it is 100% necessary. Like, you have to literally use that to even open your business. That's what I found out anyways. I didn't get too deep into the gameplay, and so it could be different, but yeah. Anyways, I told you I was going to point out that incense burner. There it is. There's the traffic cone incense burner. If it was orange, tell me that does not look like a traffic cone. I really don't love the way that incense burner looks, but it's free, along with those standing tattoo books. Those are free also, and it makes sense to be in a tattoo studio so that, your customers are waiting to get tattooed and they could look at different reference pictures. It's perfect. And then I had my sim here take the digital artist pad, which I did not put in this build, by the way, guys. If you download this, you'll have to buy that yourself. But I used that to be able to have my sim create these drawings to put everywhere. These are like tattoo art references. And if you've ever been to a tattoo studio, then you'll know this is very realistic. Like, there is art everywhere that you can see, like honestly, even in the bathrooms, like there's just art everywhere. And so that's kind of what I wanted to recreate in this tattoo studio. Very, very important for me to recreate that. So it was necessary for me to take my sim and have him spend a few hours making all of this art to be able to put in our tattoo studio. And another thing that's super fun is the fact that this art you could sell for really good money, but it doesn't add on to the price of the studio, if that makes sense. And so that was a really, really nice surprise. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost like free money for you guys. If you download this studio and you want to fill it up with your own art, which is obvious, you know, you could delete all of that. And some of that it costs like 1,200 simoleons. And so you could delete all of that art and get all of that money. And then just have your sim put their own art up there. But at least you have a picture of what I was kind of going for, you know. But we are actually done with the downstairs already. It came together very, very quickly, and I absolutely love all of the new items in this new pack. I cannot stress that enough. And the whole look of this little like business apartment townhouse sort of thing, I absolutely love. It's almost like an industrial vibe because I used the same colors I have on the outside. I used brick and like a black paneling on the outside, and I used that exact same color combination on the inside as well, and it fits so well with the tattoo studio. Like, I absolutely love it. And another thing, I came across this bike rack in the debug catalog, and so you know I had to add a little bike rack section on the side of the building as well. So one side you have your cars, on the other side you have your bikes. Like, it's so realistic, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not a big player of the gameplay, but you already know I have got to play in this build. Like, I almost built this for myself, to be honest, but I wanted to share it with you guys too because I think it turned out super cute. We are now starting on the apartment, and I placed, you know, filler furniture that I knew I was going to have so that I could decorate downstairs as much as possible without, you know, screwing myself, so to speak. You know, once I get upstairs, I have no simoleons left. So I did not want to do that. I wanted to add all of the necessities. And so I did do that before I decorated downstairs. But I knew I wanted to add as much decoration downstairs as possible. I was just going back and forth between the two, you know. But I surprisingly was able to add a whole bunch of stuff up here. Like, I even have a TV in here. They don't have a computer or anything like that, but once you start making money downstairs in your business, then you're going to be able to buy your own computer, right? It's not a big deal. At least there's a TV for your entertainment need. But we are done upstairs now as well. That came together very, very quickly. I mean, it always does when you only have a few simoleons to work with, right? The only thing I change upstairs is I delete that like inflatable chair that I have upstairs. Honestly, I think it's super cute. I'm dying to use it, but this wasn't the time to use it. I ended up deleting that because I came across a clothes rack thing, and there was no dresser in this build, and I wanted it to be as playable as possible. So I ended up deleting, you know, the light that was there and the chair, and then I put the clothing rack there instead just to make it a little bit more playable. And I also just happened to think that that little clothing rack is super cute too, and so yeah, I wanted to use it. I will find a way to use that inflatable chair eventually. This just was not the time to use it. But we are now back on the outside of the build, and you'll see me kind of place the whole lot, kind of rearrange it around just a little bit. Like, I can't decide how big of a space I want in between the back porch and the sidewalk versus the front porch and the sidewalk. So I kind of was indecisive on that, but I did cut a part of it out because it looks the same. It's just me redoing the positioning and redoing the terrain paint and all of that stuff. And it's definitely stuff you guys don't need to see time and time again. So I did just have to cut a part of it out. But yeah, I mean, I really hope you guys enjoy the look of this tattoo studio. I really tried hard to make it look as good as possible with it only being, you know, under 20k simoleons. And like I said, it really wasn't the easiest thing, but I am very happy with the way that it turned out. And with as little simoleons as we had to do not only a apartment but also a business, it really just turned out super, super good, and I'm super proud of it. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't say that often. I really don't. Like, I really nitpick myself quite a bit when it comes to my builds, but honestly, I really like the way this one looks. And there's the bike rack. I absolutely love that. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I do. And I also pull out, all of these trees are from Debug, and I am pulling some out and just placing them in random places. And if you don't like the trees, you could totally delete them and then just paint over with the terrain paint where the tree was, and it's not a big deal. But I feel like they were really necessary, or else it would have been a really big blank area with nothing, and I hate the look of that. And so if there's a big blank area I don't know what to do with, I just plop a tree down and call it a day. There might be too many trees for this lot, but I feel like it just made it look so much better. And that little part right there where I have like 3 squares with the black fencing, I was thinking about putting like trees in each one of those slots, but it looked goofy. Like, you guys will see here in a little bit, like, it looked so goofy. So what I ended up doing was just make it like a bigger square area or a rectangular area and put like fake grass in there. I used the Debug grass from this pack, and then a couple of trees, and it looks so much better. It almost looks like that is, in essence, supposed to be the yard. I don't know. If you have pets and they need to go potty, that is where they would go potty, in my opinion. I don't know. That was random, but yeah, it is like a little patch of grass. If you have kids, that would be the perfect spot to put, like, you know, like a swing set or something. I thought about doing that, but there are no kids on this lot at all, and it's a tattoo studio, so when is there ever going to be a kid here, unless, like, you know, your tattoo artist has a kid, right? On another note, no tattoo studio would be complete without graffiti on the walls. And so, of course, on both sides of this building where there are no windows, I had to plop some graffiti on there, and I think it looks so good and so realistic. But we have reached the end of this build. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, it's up on the gallery for you guys to download, and leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe if you have not already. I hope you all enjoy the new pack and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye, guys.